Hi, it's Jane, and on WOTWIP and Coffee. And I do have coffee today because it's cold out there. Thought we would just do a little chit chat. I am going to work on that poncho that I have been needing to do, and I thought it was rather interesting because I think I have about 4.5 hours into making it, and I'll show you where we're at with it, which like I said, it's just an interesting pattern the way this pattern goes. And this is about 4.5 hours into it. And I still have a long ways to go. So I don't think it's going to be one of those that's going to be a profitable choice for me to make. But I am going to continue to work on it and get it done. Did think it was interesting. Today I get it out in the mail and I get the Crochet World Spring Edition. This is the last edition that I am getting. I have had Crochet World probably for the past 11, 12 years, maybe longer. Been getting subscriptions. It's changed over time, but I can honestly say out of all those years that I have had this book delivered, I have done one project out of it. So there's a part of me that goes, why do I keep paying for it? It's nice to look at, but is it practical for me? Apparently not. Apparently I just don't see a big reason to keep it, so I'm going to let it go for now. It does have some cute little items in it, but I'm going to show you the back page with all of those items. And there they are. That's what's in this book. A couple of Afghans, a couple of doilies, looks like a market bag, maybe one little amigurumi. I'm not sure if that's a mouse, a bear, what it's supposed to be. 3 amigurumi projects. The little lady with the heart, she's kind of cute. Let's see, there's a bigger picture of her. Because she's kind of cute. And that is called Queen of Hearts. It's a cute little amigurumi. Let me see what that one was that I'm trying to figure out whether it's a bear or mouse or what. The doilies are beautiful. But you know, I haven't worked with thread in years. Don't know that I would. It's Raina the Rabbit. This is part of their Woodland Amigurumi series. See how far I've been following that. So anyway, that's kind of what I thought was funny today, was getting that and thinking, nope, you're not going to renew, you're not going to renew, don't renew. There's no reason to renew. Oh. Now, I don't know if you've been following this whole thing with the Tik Tok ban, but I do think it's rather interesting. You know, Mark Zuckerberg spent, what was it, 7 million or 7 billion? One of those, to lobby senators for this bill, to do away with TikTok and do a ban on it, because It was a threat to him and his income. You see, Facebook and Meta aren't making that much money. They've seen a decrease in their profits. So they were wanting to get rid of TikTok because people on TikTok were making money. I mean, I supposedly make money with Meta, with the reels I put up, but it's like 28 cents, 15 cents. There's no way to recoup the money. I mean, they don't send it to you. They don't put it in your bank account. So I'm not real sure how you get paid through that. And when you go looking for the information and you can't find it, they're on Meta or anywhere. I haven't Googled it. Maybe that's the way to go. Google it or DuckDuckGo it to find out. But people on TikTok, it's changed people's lives. I mean, these people, some of these people, it's a great income. Some of them have replaced their full-time jobs by going full-time on TikTok and, bringing in anywhere from $1,000 a month extra to, from what I understand, there's a couple of people there that have become millionaires through it. But what I find is funny is this whole idea that it's owned by China and they're spying on us. Temu, Shein, Facebook, our own government, they all sell our information. I mean, I had someone send me a video last night about this gal saying that she had dreamed about something in her dream, and the next day on Facebook she was seeing ads for it. So, I don't think that's true. But it seems like that, and our own phones spy on us. Most of the phones are made in China. You don't think they figured out a way to spy on American people? And really, what are they spying on? Do you have any secrets that you think that might benefit them? I don't think I have any. I'm not sure that they need to know what kind of yarn I buy. But, I don't know, I guess so. Or if I'm buying stuffed toys or, what type of sweetener I buy. But, if that's their main goal, more power to them. But our government has sold out to the Chinese anyway in giving them not only medical information, but all kinds of our information that should be private but isn't. I mean, we have facilities all around the country that just gather our information that's on our phones and through our lives and purchases and things like that the government has on us. I mean, stop and think about it. When you see someone that, let's say like the guy that did the whole thing in New Orleans, then come back and buy and figure out everything he bought. Well, how did they find that information? Was it on his phone? Who knows? But they can even go back and find your post on Facebook. So, that's the problem with warehousing all the different kind of communications that people have with one another. It's dangerous. But what I find funny is when you really look into TikTok, only 20% is owned by the Chinese government. The other 80% is a conglomeration of world philanthropists, wealthy people. The top 4 wealthy people in the U.S. are invested in TikTok. TikTok is housed in California, I believe. It's where the headquarters are. It's housed on American servers, not Chinese servers. So I don't know. But I do find it interesting. Does it afford you freedom of speech? A little bit. Because they do censor you there on TikTok. There have been plenty of people that have been censored. But it allows you to talk about things you want to talk about. I don't know what the big deal is there. It allows you to share recipes with others. You know, create your own little cooking fiefdom or whatever it is. So I do find it sad that they're so hell-bent on getting rid of it. There are a lot worse apps in this world, one of them being Facebook, that steals your information left and right all the time. But we let them. We don't care. But I do find it sad that Mark Zuckerberg was part of trying to take down TikTok. From what I understand, he had sour grapes because he couldn't buy it. You know, they wouldn't even let him invest in it. So he's got sour grapes. And then you come to find out all this stuff that Zuckerberg has been coming out with about the way the Biden administration hampered them, gave them a lot of pressure to censor people, to censor things, and that it was wrong. And, you know, that's part of the reason they're doing away with the fact checkers. Well, the fact checkers, for years they've shown that they're political. It's not based on truth, it's based on their political ideology. So that should have been gone a long time ago. You know? But it is interesting to see. And then people were all bent out of shape when it was rumored that Elon Musk was going to buy it. And I think Elon Musk had come out and said he wasn't even thinking about buying it. Now you've given him a thought. Then you had those that are on TikTok, the rather what I would like to call rabid left, because there are quite a few of them there, talking about that TikTok is their app. And they'll delete their profiles and their accounts day one if Elon buys it. All right, bye, Felicia. You know, no big deal. I don't know, I just find it interesting. Because I go down the TikTok rabbit hole and I listen to both left and right and all the stuff and find it interesting. Of course, one of my favorites is Little Miss Candace, who is known as Doxy Lover on TikTok, with her dance, her daily news, done the dance. And generally, when you go look at it, everything she's put up there is true. Of course, I don't generally go to Fox or CNN or any of those when I'm looking for news. I actually go to the AP Wire or Reuters to actually see what's in the news, see the story unfiltered and unchanged. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to those places for your news sources, then go to these other news sources and see how they change the story to fit their slant. We used to call that yellow journalism. Or propaganda. So, I don't think they even teach yellow journalism in journalism school anymore. I think they teach it's okay to be an activist journalist. And I don't think that's right. I mean, I think there is a place for journalism that has activism in it. But I also think when it comes to the news, it should be the facts. Pure and simple facts. Not all this innuendo, not talking badly about this person, that person, just telling us the facts. Let us decide. But we don't see that if you watch any of the news channels. You always see some kind of slant to it. So yeah, I think the whole TikTok ban is interesting. And of course, there are rumors that TikTok on Sunday the 19th, supposedly, you'll go to open up the app and it's totally gone. Guess we'll see, won't we? And of course, the Supreme Court's kind of holding off on their decision. Who knows what they're doing there? But do I think it's a harm to our security in the U.S.? No, I don't. I think this present administration has been a harm to our security. They've given up a lot of our security to other countries willingly so that they can get rich off it. But that's just my opinion. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. And I gotta tell you, this Biden administration has left the incoming administration a shit show. Total shit show. Total economic collapse with the way that they've done things. From stealing from Medicare to where now our drug costs, will be seeing those go up for us seniors. That's all because the Biden administration stole from Medicare. You know, they thought that they would be back in this January, and that they could address those issues then. You can't kick the can down the road. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So we're going to see some hard times, and there's going to be a lot of groaning and moaning about it, and just remember, elections have consequences all the way around. So it's going to take a lot for America to get back to where it was very strong. Not only in its security, but in its economics. I mean, we've turned a blind eye to a lot of problems, thinking, oh, we'll work on that later. We need to work on it now. And I just really hope that everyone involved is looking for solutions instead of trying to denigrate the administration that's there. That's something that pisses me off regardless. Who's in the office is the other side being so damn partisan that they can't see that some of the things are being put out there for the people's good, not your good. I do hope that they do pass one of those bills that they're putting in place so that congressmen, women, can't benefit off of having stock in different companies and lobbying for them with their votes. That while they're in, I think it should be a lot like with presidents, that while they are in office, all of their stocks and whatnot are managed by a blind fund company. And I think it should be that way regardless for anyone who serves in any administration or any Congress. But man, oh man, it's going to be an interesting couple of years. Especially from those who have the TDS. We'll get to see a lot of fun stuff going on. And quite honestly, I think we're going to see that there's going to be a lot of people in the Congress, both the House and the Senate, that are primaried within the next couple of years. So yeah. And that's something that I think all of us, instead of just being invested during a election year, we should be invested in what's going on in our country and the decisions that they're making for us year round. But can't force that on people. Just like, when people go to church, can't force them to read the Bible. Can't force them to study it either. So, there's that. But, anyway, that's been fun. I took a trip to Goodwill the other day, and I had to, what I was looking for were notebooks, like hard notebooks, so that I could put different things into them. I do that a lot of times, like with patterns that I'm using. I have a notebook that has different patterns in it, like for babies. Some of my favorite patterns, like hats, I have a certain group of hats that I love to do, and I do those all the time, so have those patterns in there. But one of the things that I was looking for was a notebook to help me with keeping some of this household budgeting all together. Because I'll tell you, I do forget about certain things. So I was looking for notebooks, and while I was there, I found a couple of shirts. Picked them up. They're in the washing machine right now. Let me grab this bag so I can show you what I got. Gotta get up. And today I'm a little stiff. So I did get some notebooks. And then I had to tie my bag up because Miss Izzy, she is a lover of stuffed toys. She's constantly trying to steal my stuffed toys. So, had to tie my bag up to keep them safe from her. Of course, now I can't get back into the bag. I don't know why we do that, do you? But, let me just cut it. It's not like I don't have 1,000 bags here anyway. But anyway, when I was going through there, found a couple of toys, stuffed toys for Operation Christmas Child. One of those being his cute little doggy. Now, when I get these home, even though they still have the tag on it and they're pretty much brand new, what I will do is I will wipe them down with the baby wipe completely, and then take a toothbrush, an unused toothbrush, brush out the fur or the plush on them, give them a good sniff test. Like this one doesn't smell musty, but I do that with all of them before I put them into a tote. And then I found this little guy. Apparently it was one of the last year's Valentines from Walmart or Target. Walmart or Target? Walmart. So I found that little guy. Found this adorable hippo. And she's pretty cute. I think she's a she because of the eyelashes. Well, what do I know about hippos, right? And then I found this, and I thought it was rather interesting. It's a magnetic pocket game. It has a tin game board, 10 magnetic foam pieces, and instructions. Although there are no instructions in here other than on the side here. But there is the tic-tac-toe. And it's rather interesting, so, I thought that might be something for Operation Christmas Child. And yes, I will, and they do stick very well. Have the magnet on the back, they stick well. So I'll wipe that down with a baby wipe so it can be put in for one of the Operation Christmas Child. And it is tic-tac-toe, so. And these were some of the things that I found for like 99 cents, 59 cents, 39 cents, that kind of thing. So, and this is a game that originally was $2.48 for the game. Do I know where it came from? Have no clue. But it says We Veal, Wevel. It's a company in Morrisville, PA. And the website is scentos.com. I don't know if they're still around, but I'm going to look them up. See if they have, what else they have, if they sell retail, that kind of thing. I don't know if they do or not. But originally I'd gone after some notebooks. You know, just school notebooks. You know, just a regular notebook. And most of these, they were the color of the week, so they were 39 cents a piece, and I picked up about 6 of them. And generally I put those back in my, in the office so that I have them for different things, or if I'm put on a committee or something, or if I want to use them for a Bible study. Or you could use it for scripture writing, if you do scripture writing. There's a lot of things you can use those things for. But, so I had a little bit of a good time there and spent, I think, a total of $8. Originally, I like to go on Sundays and Mondays. Our Goodwill still has things of a certain color marked down to 99 cents, or different things back in household goods, decorations, that kind of stuff, for 39 cents each week. And they offer that on Sundays and Mondays. I didn't go on a Sunday, so I went Monday afternoon. Had a little bit of a good time just shopping and looking. Picked up a couple of t-shirts so that I could put those shirts into the ropes to make the t-shirt yarn to make the jump ropes for Operation Christmas Child. I do enjoy doing that, so that is something that I like to do. And so, you know, once I get enough of one couple of t-shirts enough to make a couple of ropes, I make a couple of ropes and set them aside in the tote that is ready for Operation Christmas Child. So, yeah, I've been having fun doing that. And of course, it gets me out. Now, the only bad thing is they also have yarn at Goodwill. However, I find that our Goodwill overprices their yarn. Like, let me give you an example. There'd be a regular skein of Red Heart yarn, 7-ounce skein, but it looks like some of it has been used. Well, they'll mark it $3.99. Well, it's not $3.99 at Walmart, brand new. At Walmart, brand new, I think it's still $3.74. So, or $3.24. Don't quote me on that. But, you know, it'd be cheaper to get a full skein at Walmart than it would there. And of course, there's the option of getting Walmart's brand of yarn, their mainstay. And I do enjoy that yarn. I think it's a great yarn. Is it as good as Red Heart? I'll say yeah. I have used it. I've washed it, you know, several times, dried it, those kind of things. And I know a lot of yarns now are saying not to put in the dryer. If it's acrylic, it can go in the dryer. If it can't go in the dryer, Needs to go in the trash, in my opinion. As I was saying, if it can be put in the dryer, it should be put in the trash. I just think a lot of people do not pay attention to their dryer settings when they're putting something made of acrylic into the dryer. Now, many times if I have made a wearable with acrylic yarn, like a sweater, jacket, whatever, I will wash it in the washing machine. I will put it in the dryer on low to get most of the moisture out. And then I will hang it to dry the rest of the way. And that seems to be perfectly fine. I've not had any issues, not seen a lot of pilling, those kind of things with it. There are some yarns that I see a lot of pilling with, and I find that annoying. So yeah, I just think the yarn companies have had a lot of people complaining, about the way that they dry in the dryer, so that a lot of companies are now recommending you don't dry it. However, do I know that to be true? Not a bit. It's my opinion. Probably should look that up and find out, right? See if there is an absolute reason why they're now no longer recommending you to dry a lot of acrylics in the dryer. Like I said, it used to be acrylic. You'd see that you could dry it on low tumble dry, low heat, and I still follow that with my acrylics. And I've not had a problem. Now, do I know that the Walmart brand will stand up to a test of time, like Red Heart? No, I don't. A lot of people complain about Red Heart because it is seems to be stiff and scratchy, is what a lot of them say. I don't have a problem with that. That doesn't really bother me. Do I prefer a softer yarn, like Premier Basic or the Stitch Studio that I am so generously hoarding, that I purchased when AC Moore was going out of business? Oh yeah, I do prefer it. Do I prefer Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn because it's softer? Yep, you bet. However, I'm not so sure about the durability of Hobby Lobby's yarns over the years. I mean, they've only been in being, 9 years? 9 years? 10 years. And I don't know that they sold yarn at the very beginning of their craft business. But, so we'll see. Do I think that Walmart's might stand up to it? Possibly. I'm waiting to see how it does. After a year or so, I have a couple of things that I have made solely for myself out of Walmart's brand of yarn. So, a couple of years' time, we'll be able to see if there's a difference in the way that it acts. And if it holds up like Red Heart. Red Heart is an extremely durable yarn. And there are ways to make it soft in the way that you launder it, all that kind of things to make it much softer. I do know lately I've been seeing where Walmart is really working hard to make their yarns softer. So maybe they're actually starting to give into those processes to make it softer. And they are processes, folks. Now, I do think that their cotton yarn is just as good as Hobby Lobby's. I love this cotton. I find it just as soft. I don't see any issues with using it for different projects, washcloths, those kind of things. The only thing I have against Walmart is a lack of colors. I would like to see more colors. I'd like to see a lighter purple, a lighter blue, different shade of yellow, a different shade of brown. In between the a light gray, a dark gray, and a medium gray. But I'd also like to see a lot more variegation in it. Do I think that'll happen? Probably not. I don't think Walmart is that invested in the crafts area. I don't think they see a big sales in it. And I do find it interesting. I think I told you the last time with the beads that you get at Hobby Lobby, the pony beads. They are a very different size than the pony beads that you find at Walmart. You cannot fit a size F hook through Hobby Lobby's pony beads. Now they do sell 2 different brands of pony beads. I've only bought one of the brands, so I was thinking about trying the other brand to see if it's a bigger hole. I don't know if the beadery, who has tons of different variety of pony beads, if theirs is a difference in size. I've looked at some of them online at Amazon to think about getting. So who knows? Think about it. But I do know that there's a difference in, the bead sizes there. So you can't really interchange them. And I know there are a lot of people that are making different kind of fidget toys, fidget bracelets, key rings, those kind of things with yarn. And so there is a difference in the beads and how you can use them. Very big difference. And, a lot of people are now making the weighted blankets with the pony beads. So you kind of have to be aware of that when you're choosing your pony beads for your weighted blanket. You may have to go down to I think it's a 3.5. Have it in here? And these are so hard to see. This is one of those from Crochet Society. I find that I've had to go down to a 3mm hook size to get some of those Hobby Lobby beads on there. I don't think they're... No, that's a different size. I don't think they have a 3.75. 3.75 is normally an F hook, if I remember. But, so you have to be careful if you're using those for weighted blankets. And I have a friend that makes a ton of weighted blankets. Some she does for charity, but others are people who purchase them from her. And that is something that she enjoys doing. She also likes the weight of the blanket on her lap while she's working on it. And yes, she does have a little ADHD, shall we put it. She's got a little bit going on, so maybe that helps her as well as the calming effect of crochet. And she was rather disappointed that she had gotten her, what she calls it, her crochet elbow, tennis elbow, which, it could be a combination of you've overextended that tendon. It could also be that you have bursitis in your elbow from it. And sometimes we have to take a break. I know there are times when I have done a ton of crocheting, and my arm and my shoulder are kind of achy, and they're kind of complaining about that. And I have to get around that, get used to that. Be okay with it. Take a rest. Put some heat on it. You know, put a little Bengay on it. If I remember correctly, my grandmother used to always say, Bengay will fix it all. So, who knows? So, what are you guys working on today? And how is it going? Are you getting things done the way you'd like to get them done? I do know that I did choose to do the willow square for the basis of the garment that I'm making out of the totes, and we'll see how that goes. I had looked at it and thought for the pattern that I had seen that I was trying to copy, imitate, without purchasing the pattern, which I'm sure that purchasing the pattern is probably a good idea. But I find it rather annoying. I'm not going to pay $18 for a digital pattern when it doesn't have different variations in those squares. I might pay that for, a pattern that has, I'd say 4 to 5 different variations of squares that could be used for that sweater, that outfit, that garment. But not one that has less than 3 at least. I mean, that's $6 per pattern. But I think maybe that's because my husband instilled in me frugalness. Or as he would say it, I'm just cheap. I think sometimes we spend way too much money on stuff we don't need to buy. And there's a part of me that goes, I would make the one pattern and that probably would be it with this garment. Who knows, I might make more garments, but I thought that is too easy of a kind of project to recreate without buying the pattern. As for recreating the square that they're using for the pattern, not so much. And I'll try to include a picture of the pattern that I'm talking about somewhere in here. But I love the ease, the way that it looks. But I've also determined that even if the square is not the size I need so that I can make this garment for myself, there is another way around it. It's simply to make more squares instead of what they show to create the same effect. So in my mind, that is what I am constructing as I'm building those squares. We'll see if it works out. Hopefully it will. I think it will. It's just going to be a little different, And different is not a bad idea. It's just different. So, anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking at, thinking about doing. And I don't know about you, but here we're supposed to be getting these horribly cold temperatures next week. And I am not looking forward to that. I had a running joke that my front door, there is a point on the door where you can see daylight through the door, which creates a little bit of draft. I had looked at putting in some weather stripping in there. Didn't really do anything. So let me tell you what I went and got. And I still have to install it. Got to clean the side of the door to put it on. I bought some of that alien tape. And we'll see if that works. But yeah, there's a certain point, where I used to film whenever I was doing lives, and also along that wall where I've got the love seat that I've filmed at occasionally. It's got the dragon little dragon wall hanging that I made for Thomas. There is a draft when you're sitting over there, and it comes from the door. And I, for the longest time, was using draft dodgers and everything else. And the draft just never did go away. So one afternoon, I decided I needed to look at that doorway, see what was going on. So I stood in my kitchen and I looked towards the door and realized that I could see daylight through the bottom half of the door between the door jambs. I have double doors in the living room, and so I could see daylight in that bottom part. So I went down, looked, got some regular weather stripping, for the door, put that in there, and realized that is not really going to help with the situation, because these doors, since they're double doors, I had to open and close those at any given time, same time. It's constantly going to peel back on that weather stripping, and it would fall off, basically. It's what would happen. When Thomas and I were living in the apartments that we lived in, that was a constant issue for the front door for us because there was such a huge draft. Of course, my chair was right next to that. So I had always called it, I'm over in the polar vortex of the house, because you would get that, and I could swear there would be a breeze that went from the kitchen, came right through that front door to me, and Thomas would laugh and say there was no breeze. He didn't know what I was talking about. Except if he ever sat over there to work on my computer or anything, because I had a table the computer sat on that I pulled in front of me. It was one of those rolling stand-up desks. So he'd come over there, sit in my chair to work on the computer, and he'd be like, it's freezing over here. I feel a breeze. Yeah, I keep telling you that. Well, we tried everything under the sun, weather stripping, you name it, nothing worked. Although one year I made a door quilt. And it's just a quilt that you hang over the doorway. And basically that helped quite a bit with it. But the landlord had come over one time for one of the inspections, and she got bent out of shape, because it was going to damage her door. It was hanging on rods, that she had already placed on that door anyway. And so we just arranged it to where it fit on there and hung on it. But she was so worried and concerned about it that we wound up taking it down each spring. Not during the winter. But I didn't want to go the route of having to make another door quilt. So I saw the thing for the alien tape. Supposedly it's one of those that will seal your windows and seal that kind of doorway and can't really see it. And personally, I don't care if you can see it or not. I'm one of those people that think, well, it's just a house, you know. So what if you can see it? If it does the job you put it there to do, good. So, that is basically what I am going to attempt to do later on today, and we'll see if it actually works, especially when those cold one-digit temperatures come into play. Yeah, and supposedly they're saying that with the wind that's going to come with it, it's going to have a real feel of like minus, a couple of degrees minus zero. So I'm not too happy about that. The only good thing about that is I do keep my temperature in the house a little bit lower than normal. I keep it at about 70. At night, sometimes before I go to bed, I may crank it up to 73 for about an hour and then turn it back down. But for the most part, I keep it one temperature. If it's too cold, like today, got the fireplace going. And the fireplace has a thermostat I can set on it that when the room reaches that temperature, the flame will go out, and then when it gets too cool, it'll come back on. So I do think that that helps a little bit with staying a little bit warmer in this house. Of course, I have the fireplace in the back room. Generally, I don't worry about the back room. The only thing I do, because it's glass, it's got the sunroom, and the door to the back room is full glass. Lots of times I will put a floor heater by my feet if I'm sewing, because what I've found is my feet get cold while I'm back there. I can turn on the fireplace. I don't. I just don't see the need for it during that time. But, yeah. So I'm going to give the alien tape a try. Should be interesting. Me trying to get it on there with these cats. Trying to figure out what's going on and whatnot. And I gotta tell you, these cats, sometimes they drive me crazy. They love chewing on paper or plastic bags. What I mean by that is, like if I get something from Amazon and it comes in a poly envelope, these guys will walk up to it and chew. In fact, I have a little bit of a video at the very end where Ronan is chewing on a piece of peppermint bark from the Dollar Tree on that wrapping. He's chewing on it. And as long as it was sitting there, he'd walk by, stop, chomp on it. These guys, if I have patterns that are sitting out, they're just plain paper, they're not in a sheet protector, they'll chomp on it. They'll chew on it. So, and I guess that's still the age, I don't know. And I will tell you, I've got a couple of toys that they've absolutely gone bonkers over. And the biggest thing is it's a plastic, like corkscrew. They will chase that sucker all over the house. And having a blast with it. And of course, Izzy still keeps trying to steal my flower pin cushion. So I have to put my pin cushion up in a drawer or somewhere where she can't find it. I'm telling you, they're like having children, getting into things they shouldn't get into. But they still make me laugh, so I guess that's okay, right? Ronan lately, I think I told you he let me pick him up. That was kind of a bit of a surprise. So, a sweet surprise. And I do know that when I sit over on the love seat to crochet or knit, he loves getting up there on the love seat with me, laying next to me and getting a lot of pets and loves. So, although lately, the past couple of nights, he is just kind of freaking me out. When I go to bed at night, like last night, got up to go to the bathroom about 1:30 at night, and he comes running in, jumps in the window, sits in the window, meows at me, and I'm like, we don't open that window. There's no reason to open that window. It's nighttime. We don't open the window at night. And what he wants is the blinds open so he can see out. But he'll sit there in that window staring at me as I sleep, and then I will hear him get up on the bed. Then he jumps on the headboard, top of the headboard, and he either sits up there and watches me, or he kind of perches on it, watches me for a while. I'm not sure that he doesn't fall asleep up there. And then eventually he decides he's tired of it, then jumps down in bed and then goes to my feet to sleep. But there are times I wake up in the morning and I can feel him staring at me. And I'll look up and he's sitting on the top of that headboard, just staring at me, like he's trying to will me awake. Now this morning, their water bowl was almost completely empty. And I feel that on a daily basis. I empty it, give them fresh water every day. These cats are the best at drinking water that I have ever seen. I've never had cats that drink as well as these two. And that's even if they get wet food in between. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to watch them. But I think it's neat that they get plenty of fluids. Because that's one thing that a lot of cats don't do. A lot of cats don't drink enough fluids. Then they get into trouble. It's where they get those urinary tract infections and all kinds of stuff. But, yeah, interesting. Of course, the only sad thing is anytime I open a can, whether it's a can of soup or what, these guys think it's for them. So they come a-running. So it's kind of funny and comical to watch. I'm like, you guys don't eat chicken noodle soup. Get a grip. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Need to change the battery. Hang on. When I got up to change the battery, I found another little stuffy that I found at Goodwill. And that was this little bear. And this little bear is from the petting zoo, Recycles and Naturals. It's a black bear. And the original price that they had on it was $11.99. Got that for 90 cents. But it's supposedly recycled plush material, recycled fill, I'm assuming that's polyfill, recycled silicate pellets, recycled sewn-in labels. Didn't know you could recycle sewn-in labels. Generally, I cut those off. Because they don't really tell you that much information on it. So I don't know if I'll cut those recycles off, but thought it was rather cute. 99 cents. He doesn't smell stuffy either, so I'll clean him up with my attempt to do what I was doing. I do know a lot of people will put them in the washing machine and wash them. I do that as a last resort. Generally, I find washing them with the baby wipe, using an unscented baby wipe, and then brushing their fur out is plenty to take care of the mustiness or anything. Sometimes I will wash them in a solution of baking soda, a lot of water and that kind of thing, and then do the same thing, brush it out. But I avoid doing that because washing that baking soda out of it is sometimes kind of redundant and a lot harder because you have to do it over and over. And I find sometimes that it's just not worth it. And by the time you get that washed out of there, too many times the critter looks pretty ragged. And, Samaritan's Purse always says they don't want anything that is used to be sent. But sometimes I think like some of these stuffies, there's nothing wrong with them. And many of them are in pretty new condition. Who knows? Maybe they were donated by a store. Maybe they were just things that someone collected. And then when the person passed away, they brought it all to Goodwill. Who knows? Yeah, I do shop at Goodwill because there are 2 thrift stores in my area. One is Goodwill. The other used to be, and I said used to be, Salvation Army. They were losing so much money, and I think they had put in an article, the building where they were at, they would have to do $70,000 worth of renovation to bring it up to code and everything else to make sure that it was safe, So they had chosen not to do that and just shut down the thrift store. So now we have Goodwill in my area. The other store is the American Rescue thrift store. And those are the only thrift stores in our area. Now I can travel to Williamsport and pick up a couple of different thrift stores. There's a couple heading towards State College. Of course, there's quite a few in State College you can shop at, as well as in the Bellefonte area. But, and I don't mind shopping at Goodwill. I do mind that they don't really pay you well for those people who are working there. I have a friend who works there part-time because that's all the hours that they will give her, although she'd like a few more hours, but that's all that they will give her. And she said it's not too bad. She only works 25 hours a week, but it's a little bit of extra income for her, so that's good. And yeah, but as far as goods go, it's pretty good. I have not been down the Jersey Shore where Creative Grandma is. I think there are 2 thrift stores in that area. I'm not sure, but I think there are 2, but I've not been down there to check them out. Maybe I should give them a try, see what they have. I know that many times for clothing for myself, being a plus size girl, they don't always have a whole lot of plus size clothing. But it seems to be one of those that it comes and goes. You'll go in there and you'll find tons of plus size items for my size. And then the next time you're in there, it's a desert. So, but it's just, interesting to go in and choose those kind of things. Now, our Goodwill did change a couple policies. Used to be if you bought something that was electronic, that you could test it out in the store there. Well, now they've determined they're not doing that anymore. However, take your receipt and, if it doesn't work, bring it back and they'll give you your money back. So I'm like, okay, whatever works. And I noticed they had a couple of those, what I call them the Stanley Cups dupes. Like my one, this purple one that I have. And I'm not sure if I got this at Walmart or I got it at Ollie's. But I do like it because it does carry quite a bit of fluid in it. And if I'm going to like a Bible study or something like that, I like taking it so that I have something I can drink on while I'm there. And that's something that I find I do a lot of, drinking a lot of water to help with things. So yeah. And especially in the winter with my voice, it just helps so much having fluids constantly going in during the cold to keep it from affecting my vocal cord. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Vocal cord issues, yippee. So, I think sometimes we have to make the best of whatever we can. But I don't mind shopping at Goodwill or thrift stores for different kind of stuffed animals. You never know what you can get. And since most of them just charge you 99 cents for the stuffed animals, it's worth it. The only difference is if it has a different price on it. And sometimes they do, and I just put those back and go for the ones that don't have different special marking on it. Now, I did tell the girl when I handed her that one, I said, that one has an original price tag on it. But I got to tell you, I ain't paying $11.99 for it. She started laughing. She said, no, it's 99 cents. So, you got to pick your battles, right, people? Okay, I think I'm about done talking with you, with the exception of giving you a couple of channels, a couple of shout outs for those channels. And let me get to it. This first one, I follow her on TikTok, and she has some fantastic tips for living on less and feeding your family on a budget. And her name is Liz, but her TikTok handle is Michael Sarah's girlfriend. And she continues to use that as her handle. I don't know if she's still his girlfriend or not. Really doesn't matter. She does have a child, but her name is Liz, and she is very frugal, hardworking single mom. So she shares a lot of her tips for living on less and how to feed your family on a budget. And basically, it's pantry cooking. Use what's up in your pantry. A lot of people give her grief because she goes to the food pantry and she does a lot of food pantry hauls. Guess what, folks? Many food pantries, there is no financial amount to meet. You don't have to be low income. Basically, this is a food pantry that is subsidized by the federal government for anyone and everyone. And if you don't take use of it, then they cut that funding for that area. So her advocacy is to feed America, use those pantries. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I've found that it's easier to go to the food pantry and find some of the things that I need without having to worry about where I'm going to come up with that money for it. So yeah. Then the next channel is Grab It Fast. This fellow is a full-time dumpster diver, father of 5, and he does dumpster diving. So it's very interesting to see. He also does the same thing that one of my favorite dumpster diver does, that a huge portion of what he finds gets donated to multiple blessing boxes throughout his community. And I love that. We waste a lot of things that we shouldn't waste. And when you watch these and you see that many times that this is something they did a dive 4 weeks ago, but the date that it expires is months in the future, it should make you mad. You know, the grocery stores are getting rid of those things. The next one is Flipping the Mitten. This is a person who loves treasure hunting and discovering hidden gems. They buy abandoned storage units and share those finds with you. So that's a lot of fun. Next one is Alicia's Kitchen. Alicia is a stay-at-home mom to 6, as she puts it, absolutely amazing kiddos. Said kiddos are homeschooled. Her goal is to show that you can eat pretty well on any budget you set. We may need to think outside of the box a little bit, but it can be done. And she shares all things pertaining to food, cooking, saving money, budgeting, and all kinds of those things related to those topics. Her goal is to be able to inspire you in some way or another. And this last, well, I have 2 more channels. The next channel is Homemade Simple. This is Lori, and she has teenage daughters and 2-year-old little boy. As she puts it, the best surprise ever. Her channel is here to help you as a homemaker share inexpensive meal ideas, time management systems to allow you more time with your family and friends, ideas on living a more frugal life. She likes to build sustainable systems to help her keep her home calm and peaceful. She's going to share those things with you. Then there is Creative Yarn by Fabi. This is Fabiana, I think. She does Centro and Addy knitting machine patterns, tutorials for beginners and crochet tutorials, tips to make beautiful crochet tops, bikinis, and clothes. She also does a lovely, great, just great all over tutorials on making things with your Centro and your Addy machines. She also has a free beanie size guide and pattern at her website. And almost all of her crochet and knitting designs are unique and designed by Miss Fabi. So I hope you will check her out. The website for that free beanie size guide and pattern is knittingmachinepatterns.com. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I do plan on putting another video up sometime this weekend because I have a bunch of yarn that needs to be caked up. Yep, some of those yarns from some of those hats that I made for the kiddos at kindergarteners, and they all need wound up into cakes. So I will be doing that on a video with you, as well as working through this tote. I'm having fun doing that. And I'm finding it's a great challenge to me to actually get things done. So, like I said, I'm having a blast with it. All right, guys. I'll see you again soon. Everybody have a great week. Bye.